Come along, boys, and listen to my tale. Gonna tell you my troubles on the old Chisholm Trail. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 tie-yi, yippee, yippee. Well, first off, I want you to know that all I know is just what I read in the newspapers. You know, we got some people here that are all upset. Seems they demand to know why we left our soldiers over in Germany so long after the war was over. But you know, we had to do that. Guess it turns out a couple of them hadn't gotten married yet, I guess. Well, let's see what we got here. Always something funny in this thing. It says here, Congress deadlocked, can't act. It's about the biggest blessing that could ever befall this country right there. Here are all these disgustingly wealthy men, and they're at a loss as to what to do with all their money. It's funny, they never consider giving it back to the people they took it from. But you know, instead of these wealthy men giving their money to colleges to promote learning, I think we ought to just pass a constitutional amendment that prohibits anybody from learning anything. And if it works as good as that prohibition one did, in 5 years we'll have the smartest race of people on earth. That's it. Now, speaking of smart people, it says all across the country they're graduating thousands of students in law. It's going to take a heck of a lot of crime to support that bunch. And Los Angeles is in the news. Los Angeles has too many cars and not enough places to park them all. But you know, I know the solution to Los Angeles' traffic problem. All you got to do is just take all the cars off the road that aren't paid for. I'd turn them boulevards into playgrounds overnight. Because you know, this country we're living in is living on $1 down and $1 a day. We are. We're going to hold the distinction of being the only country in the world that has the honor of riding to the poorhouse in an automobile. President Coolidge says we're approaching what he calls an era of prosperity. And everybody generally admits we are a lot better off than we ever were in our lives. But do you realize that we have a national debt of almost $30 billion? We owe more money than any nation on earth. And all we can talk about is lowering taxes. When's the best time to pay off a debt if it's not when you're doing well? We got a long-sighted government, folks. You ever notice this? When everybody's got money, they cut taxes. And when we're all broke, they raise them. But here's what I can't savvy. Why is it that we'll all work and slave and stint all of our lives, and for what? To leave something to our children, right? We'll break our necks so we won't leave them owing a single debt. We won't even die if we can help it till we're out of debt for their sake. That's what we'll do as individuals. But boy, when it comes to collectively, it looks like we'll break our necks just trying to see how much we can leave them owing. $30 billion. I got another item here I thought you might be interested in. It says another wife out in Long Island shot her husband. Season opened a month early this year, I guess. You know what caused that? I'll tell you what caused that. Prohibition caused that. Prohibition caused that. Yeah, it did. There are just as many husbands being shot at today as there was back in the old days. But back then, the women were missing them. I like a hometown audience. You don't have to explain jokes to them, you know. Yeah, Prohibition has improved their marksmanship 90%, and that's good. That's good, because if we can improve their marksmanship, we can improve civilization. Because about every fourth feller you meet today ought to be shot anyhow. I'll tell you, there's not a day that goes by in this town of New York City that some innocent bystander doesn't get shot. You stand around town long enough and be innocent, somebody's going to shoot you. A little while back we had 4 shot in one day. 4. Best darn shooting ever done in this town. Don't laugh, it is. It is hard to find 4 innocent people in New York, even if you don't stop to shoot them. So anyway, who's to blame for all this increase in violence and everything? Well, the president's to blame. You know how we are with our presidents, you know. It starts raining and every one of us doesn't have a pair of goulashes and an umbrella. We kick the president out in the alley, you know. And so right in this paper, you know, they're calling President Coolidge a do-nothing president. They are. And I take Calvin's side in this matter. I do. Now see, Calvin Coolidge may be a do-nothing president, but you got to realize he does nothing better than anybody else does. He's the first president in this country to find out that what the American people want is to be left alone. Well, people say, there you go, Will, you're making fun of your politicians. I think you'd show them a little respect every once in a while. I respect my politicians, I do, because a lot of these fellers are friends of mine. And I respect them, and I like them. You get them out of Washington, D.C., they're regular human beings. They really are. And I like them. So the person said, oh, yeah, well, you're picking on him because he's a Republican. And that's not true. Because, you see, I myself, I don't belong to any organized political party. No, sir, I am a Democrat. Come along, boys, and listen to my tale. Gonna tell you my troubles on the old Chisholm Trail. Come a tie-yi, yippee, 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 tie-yi, yippee, yippee.